Well, I grew up basically exploring the streams and the lakes of rural South Carolina and spending the summers on the coastline. And cliche, I watched a whole lot of Jacques Cousteau specials, and I basically wanted to be a marine biologist since I was about the age of 5, and I never changed my mind. Well, there was a brief moment in time in university when I was thinking about doing rainforest ecology, but after 6 months in the rainforest of Madagascar studying lemurs and waking up quite frequently with scorpions and centipedes under my tent, I decided I really needed to be a marine biologist. Well, I actually studied mantis shrimp or stomatopods in Indonesia, and I was looking at them as bioindicators of marine pollution stress. That went very well, and I became fluent in Indonesia and fell in love with the country. We actually found a coelacanth in the fish market in Manado. Now, the coelacanth is a living fossil. It was long thought to be the missing link between basically fishes and four-legged land animals, and it turns out that the fish that we found in the fish market in Manado was a new species, Latimeria manadoensis, and that changed the whole focus of my postdoc research. Shortly after the coelacanth discovery, I was hired by USAID in order to improve the management of Bunaken National Park. There I met a number of my best Indonesian colleagues, and we worked with the local communities in Bunaken to revise the zonation, put into place a joint patrol system to eliminate all of the destructive fishing practices there, and set up an entrance fee to fund the management of Bunaken National Park. After 5 years of working in Bunaken, I was hired by Conservation International to take over their work in Raja Ampat. That eventually led into the Birds Head Seascape program, where we work with local communities across West Papua to implement a network of 26 marine protected areas covering over 5.2 million hectares of the world's most biodiverse coral reefs. Dr. Jerry Allen, who is my senior colleague and one of my best friends, he dragged me in very early in my career in CI into coral reef fishes. He said, no more mantis shrimp, time for coral reef fishes. And together, we've actually discovered over 160 new species of fish, and he's been an amazing friend and mentor for the past 20 plus years. It's actually now over 240 species that I've discovered. Now, 217 of those are reef fishes, mantis shrimp, and corals that I've personally described along with other colleagues, and some of the others have been named in my honor. In 2011, I met a wonderful young scientist named Sarah Lewis, who convinced me that we needed to start looking at the manta rays in Raja Ampat, and that very quickly led into a pretty full-scale research program by CI and our colleagues with the Indonesia Manta Project. Over time, that turned into basically the Raja Ampat Shark and Ray Sanctuary, and eventually that was leveraged into national protection for manta rays across all of Indonesia. In 2015, I began speaking with my very dear colleague, Dr. Christine Dudgeon, who's the world's expert on leopard sharks, and we kind of came up with this idea of taking leopard shark eggs from large public aquariums, shipping them to Raja Ampat, and eventually releasing those animals into the wild. She had a lot of great ideas about that. We eventually pitched that, and of course, that is what turned into the STAR project, which is ReShark's first and most flagship project. I lead strategy, fundraising, and partnerships in order to rewild threatened sharks and rays around the world.